Hello, good morning and welcome to IrelandAM on Virgin Media 1.
It's Wednesday, the 11th of September, and thank you for joining us. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
Now, first up this morning, after a combative presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, we're going to be catching you up at 7:15. Also, we'll be talking about why Tay is the one who's taken quite a lot of the headlines.
There's all talk about would she or wouldn't she?
And she has. We'll tell you about it in a while.
And for something completely different, we'll be speaking to content creator Molly Nicola about her passion for Gaelic and how her videos have inspired Irish language learners.
Alan is so inspired. I mean, all morning on Will Cadagum Dulgadi on Leris. Everywhere, isn't it?
The Gaelic will be coming out of me all morning.
Now, if you're asking yourself,
Where's Tommy
Bow? Where is it? He's like, where's Wally this morning? Tommy, where are you, love?
Look at him.
Good morning to you guys. Yes, I am in Newcastle, County Down for the Amgen Irish Open. Think of the likes of Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry, Padraig Harrington. All the big stars from the game of golf are going to be here playing in Royal County Down right up until Sunday this week, all hoping to take home the crown of the Irish Open. But today they're letting a few donkeys out onto the course, me included. Watch out. I'm going to be speaking to the likes of Westlife, Shane Filan, Jamie Nesbitt, AP McCoy and many, many more throughout the morning, all asking them how their golf swing is going. But it's very windy, lads. There's going to be a lot of lost balls, but you know what a beautiful setting it is down here. It's going to be a super day. I can't wait.
It certainly is, and letting a donkey like yourself on the course.
I know, watch out. It's really is not good.
Hee-haw. He's going to be amazing,
he is
obviously.
Going to be amazing. He's very good at his old golf.
Oh,
very
beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that. Looking forward to seeing that a little bit later on, and hopefully he'll have to tee off like I did last week. And you know what? He's going to smash it.
You did it. You did it.
Yeah. Now, coming up next, we're going to be discussing the US presidential debate, which finished just a few hours ago.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty between the former prosecutor and the former president after this short break.
Welcome back. Now, the first US presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump took place overnight in Philadelphia, with Vice President Harris putting Donald Trump very much on the defensive.
Yeah, here to discuss this political correspondent with the Irish Times, Jack Corrigan-Jones, News Talk political correspondent Sean Defoe, and live from Boston for us, journalist Hilary McGann. Good morning to all three of you.
Morning.
Before we go to live to Hilary before she falls asleep on us, guys here in studio, Jack and Sean. Sean, how do you think the debate went? Who won?
Well, I think if this was a conventional political debate with the normal rules that we all kind of think we understand around politics, it would be a fairly straightforward win for Kamala Harris. You know, I thought that on those kind of metrics, she wiped the floor with them. She was more consistent, she was more focused, he was erratic, he was volatile. But we know that the rules of American politics have fundamentally changed. So it's not like analysing a normal political debate. I think she shaded it, probably. Right. But that, you know, this is not a decisive knockout blow.
No, a lot of people pointing to the fact that he lost.
Yes, she was certainly more presidential. She got under his skin in a way we probably haven't seen any debater do with Donald Trump, and allowed him enough rope to sort of hang himself.
He certainly did, and that was the thing. She was obviously in debate camp for quite a while leading into this debate. Hilary, you're on hour 22 of your day. Thank you so much for staying up for us. But can we ask you, what's the reaction been like in America to this debate? There are 7 states that are incredibly important for this debate.
Absolutely, and good morning to you all. I think what's unusual is that there oftentimes is not a lot of agreement across the political spectrum here in the US, but there seems to be in the last few hours since the debate ended a very clear consensus of the fact that Kamala Harris performed very well tonight, and it was not a strong performance by Donald Trump, to the point that, you know, one news anchor, Chris Wallace, who used to work at Fox News, now with CNN, went as far as to say that actually it was such a disaster for Donald Trump that it was comparable to Joe Biden's performance back in June. You know, Republican politicians such as Chris Christie and Lindsey Graham, people who've had very complex relationships with Donald Trump but have supported him in the past, have said that his debate team that prepped him need to all be fired. And so this is not a good night for him. But I think, as the guys alluded to, I completely agree with them. It's, you know, how much is it going to move the needle? I think it's going to take a few days to see. like you said, Muireann, it all comes down to the 7 key swing states here in the US, and this is an incredibly, incredibly close race.
Hilary, can we talk about some of the points then, some of the main points as you see them? What were the big talking points of the night?
Well, the economy, it's no surprise. It was one of the most talked about aspects policy-wise that was discussed tonight. Second to that was abortion, which I don't think was too unexpected because it is a strong policy stance that Kamala Harris has, and she is pretty strong on that, and she was tonight. What was fascinating when it came to the abortion conversation was points that Donald Trump made where he suggested that governors were in favor of abortion in the 9th month, and even went so far as to say that a baby could be executed after birth.
Yeah, I think we have this was a huge moment in the debate where he says that an abortion was something that happens after a baby is born. We can take a look at it now.
Her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me.
And then we have the moderator then coming in, and that the Trump camp were not happy about the moderator interrupting him and fact-checking him during the debate.
Yeah, absolutely. It was in real time, fact checked, where she said very, very clearly there is no state in the US where that is legal. And off the back of the debate, and I think, what I talked about, the general consensus, a lot of Trump supporters, Lara Trump, for example, his daughter-in-law was very quick to say that, well, this was 3 against 1. And Donald Trump, he went into the spin room talking to the media after, and he has decided now that ABC News, ABC, the broadcaster, is the worst broadcaster. And so it'll be very interesting to see how he goes forward, because Kamala Harris has...
It's just a spin out of him.
It's just, how is this not satire some of the times? We're going to take a clip right now, and I think a lot of people might have seen it first thing that they woke up this morning. And this is animal lover, it would appear, Donald Trump talking about cats and dogs.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Okay, so this is something that happened last night in relation to immigration. He says that people are coming into the country and eating dogs and cats. This has been debunked already previous to the debate. Hilary, the reaction to this?
Well, I think there's so many different layers to this. I mean, you just can't predict what you're going to be talking about in a US debate at the moment. But here we are. No Haitian immigrants are not eating cats and dogs in Ohio. But I think there's a fascinating aspect to this in the sense of Kamala Harris absolutely knew there was a split screen there, and her reaction was fascinating, and it has been widely circulated. It has gone viral within minutes of that clip circulating. And also, just to pare it back for a second, it's going to be very interesting to see in the weeks to come what the relationship between Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, is, because J.D. Vance is the Republican senator for Ohio. And he is, to my knowledge, the first person that would have said this, claiming that these illegal Haitian migrants were eating pets and animals like geese in Ohio. As you say, Muireann, that has been debunked, but it is something that Donald Trump repeated. And I'm just fascinated by that dynamic and how they're going to go forward.
Yeah, because lads in studio here, and Jack, you were saying that talking about the split screen. Now you're saying for some of it you weren't watching the screen, but then it actually turned the dynamic by watching Kamala Harris's reaction to some of what Donald Trump was saying.
Yeah, I was glamorously emptying the dishwasher. So
I wasn't going to say.
And it did change it, because while he had what we're saying is a kind of resting Trump face all the way through, he had that kind of orange scowl almost permanently set. And she was just constantly giving these very, very memeable reaction shots all the way through. She was saying a lot with her expression, and I think that a lot of people will have picked up on that and taken that away. So I think that was a really important moment. And even though it wasn't a hot mic, even though she couldn't interrupt, she said a lot with her face.
Yeah.
In relation to all of this, there was open goals in an awful lot of areas for Donald Trump with the economy, inflation, housing. Oftentimes, did he stay on message with that, Sean?
Well, at the start, he started on message when it was the economy part at the start of it. And they were both just spewing the lines that we've had for ages. He said he had the best economy, that she said he had the worst economy. You know, it was very he said, she said for a lot of it. And then he goes off message with some of the stuff like the eating cats and dogs. She kind of managed to, I think it's quite clever the way she approached the debate, because she's not an amazing debater. You know, she's not one of the great debaters of all time. She's not an amazing speech giver. That's not where her talent is. It is more in that prosecutorial manner that she came across with, and just allowed him enough crumbs. Like, you know, it's saying about people should go along to a Trump debate. They're actually very boring and people leave before the end. And you could see his facial reaction change. Go, well, they're not boring and everyone stays. No one goes to your rallies anyway. And got him enough off message that then, you know, he's away from the script. He's talking about other things and making the mistakes.
It was amazing, the baiting.
Yeah,
and he took it every time.
There's a really good stat on that the New York Times pulled together overnight. So she was speaking for about 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And of that, 17 and a half minutes, she was attacking him. So it's about half. He was speaking for 43 minutes. And for just under 13 of those minutes, so less than a third, he was attacking her. So this, and it looks like a strategy where she would kind of bait him, derail him, get him kind of rambling and ranting. That was all time that, you know, he's on his kind of strong points in some ways that will appeal to the base, but it's not time that he's using to kind of frame her, describe who she is to the electorate. And that's very much what people were saying this debate was going to be about. Both sides are going to be trying to define who Kamala Harris was.
And Hillary, I mean, as you said, it will take a couple of days maybe for her to get any major results out on this, but just on a snapshot from last night, who won it?
Well, there is a trickle of information already. I mean, CNN had a flash poll that came out, and straight away within about an hour, 63% of those polled said that they felt Harris outperformed Donald Trump. What was interesting for me with that is that those same people were polled before the debate began, and it was split right down the middle, 50-50. So that was a big jump and speaks to how disappointing of a night it was for Donald Trump. And I absolutely want to reiterate what the guys have said. There was a lot of pressure on Kamala Harris going into this debate, pressure for her to identify herself, to familiarize herself with the voters. You know, earlier today or yesterday, I'm losing track of what day it is, guys. But, you know, earlier the New York Times pre this debate, we're speaking to just how close this election is going to be. And in terms of national polling, Tuesday morning, 8 weeks out from the election, Donald Trump was ahead 48 to 47% on the national polling. And what I find fascinating about this idea that off the back of the debate, they're saying 63% said that Harris was the winner of the debate. If you go back to June, off the back of that infamous debate, Biden versus Trump, 67% said that Trump won that. And so I know it's different candidates. I know it's a lot has happened since then, but it speaks to the turnaround and the pressure that Donald Trump's going to be under over the next 2 months.
Certainly, but whether we actually know who she is as a result of the debate, a lot of questions. She spent so much time attacking him. Finally, like with so many other things in life, it all comes back to Taylor Swift, and she made herself known last night, Hillary, as a childless cat lady.
She absolutely did. And I think, to be honest with you, I'd say the Harris campaign are absolutely beside themselves. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the clip yet, but Tim Walz was actually live on air on MSNBC when he was told of the news of it. And you can see the relief in many respects in his eyes. But I think that will be fascinating to see what impact it has. She was very clear in her reasonings why. And listen, to be honest,
she's endorsed. Just let people know she's endorsed
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris last night. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, here I am missing the headline. But you know, like a true journalist. But you know, nobody felt that she was going to turn around and endorse Donald Trump. That was not what we were waiting to see. But what was fascinating for people watching on and waiting was the fact that she did endorse Biden back in 2020. People were waiting to see what she'd do this time. And I think it's going to have a huge impact. You know, in the past, she has called for people to vote, register to vote. It has had a huge impact on predominantly young female voters and first-time voters. And so that's a big coup for the Harris campaign to come off right off the back of the debate.
Hilary McGann, a journalist who is in Boston, 22-hour day. Thank you so much. Your latest podcast, which is booked in with David McWilliams, an excellent podcast. Hilary, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys.
And welcome back. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Mirror. The headline there: Hayes could be hurled into jail. A hurling star, Kyle Hayes, is facing jail time after being convicted yesterday of driving at 155 kilometres per hour and taking over 9 cars as he was doing it.
Yes, and the Star leads with the same story. Hurler Kyle faces jail time. The Limerick All-Ireland winner was put off the road for 2 years at Mallow District Court yesterday for dangerous driving.
The Herald has a different story. It says cruel trolls mock the death of criminal James Jaws Byrne. The bogus notices, which are being widely shared on social media, attack Byrne and repeatedly refer to his ties in the drugs trade. Byrne, known to family and friends as Jemmy, died last Saturday night.
The Irish Times front page reads, concern in coalition at fallout from tax ruling on Apple. The government is scrambling to control the fallout from the Apple tax ruling after the Court of Justice of the European Union found the computing giant must pay over 13 billion to Ireland.
Sticking with that story, spending of Apple billions to be election battleground. Politicians expect this will be an election issue and is likely to feature prominently in political party manifestos ahead of the general election. That's the front page of the Irish Independent.
The Examiner leads with Apple windfall will not impact the budget. Finance Minister Jack Chambers has warned that Ireland's near 14 billion windfall from tech giant Apple will not mean any giveaways for the public in the budget.
Cabinet shock at our 13 billion windfall is the top story in the Daily Mail.
And the Sun leads with the same story. Its headline reads, how do we like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
You got to do it in a Boston accent.
We love them apples.
That's what you got to do. The Apple windfall story, of course, dominates the front pages this morning. The Taoiseach Simon Harris has said that the funds will not be used for day-to-day spending, while Sinn Féin leader Mary Lee McDonald has said her party would spend the money on desperately needed housing and infrastructure.
Well, they have stayed with us this morning. Yes, Jack Corrigan-Jones, political correspondent with the Irish Times, and Sean Devoe, political correspondent with News Talk. Good morning. Thanks for staying with us, lads. Why is the government so embarrassed that we have now got this windfall? Because there was like scrambling yesterday. Oh my God, no, we're after getting all this money we didn't really want. What do we do?
Yeah,
We've never wanted it.
They kind of fought it all the way, and I suppose the two trains of thinking, one being that Apple employs an awful lot of people in Ireland. You don't really want to upset them when they could take their business elsewhere. But also you don't, if the other multinational companies that have invested in Ireland have a lot of things here, don't want to look and say, well, hold on, you did a special deal with Apple and you didn't do any sort of deal with us. So that was one of the arguments.
But did the government do a deal with Apple?
Well, that is the big question, isn't it? And I suppose the court found that there certainly is money owed back. The government still insists there was no sweetheart deal with Apple, and it doesn't do sweetheart deals with multinationals. But we know, of course, down throughout history, there has been wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
A sweetheart deal to entice them
bring them into the country
exactly. And set up their massive campus in Cork.
And our low corporation tax rate has always been a part of that as well, like a more official part of it.
OK, so Jack, you've been in the weeds with this for quite a while now.
Nearly a decade.
Nearly. Like this is how long the Irish government have been fighting Europe. This 14 billion, it's in escrow in an account. We've been fighting this for years, saying we don't want this money, whereas the rest of us are going, we want this money. There is an issue here for the government because they don't want this money from Apple.
Yeah.
And they've been told you have to take it now.
So because we now have finality to it, it crystallises the debate in some ways neatly, but it's still quite sprawling in other ways. So on the one hand, right, this is historical. Nothing changes this morning arising from this. You're not going to find companies upping sticks. We don't have to change our tax law or anything like that. So in a kind of tangible day-to-day sense, it kind of doesn't matter. But then in a more broad sense, in many ways, it does. So I was talking to some people in government yesterday and they're saying, look, the backdrop to this is one where the foreign direct investment offering that Ireland has changed. We have infrastructural issues, we have housing issues, we have capacity constraints when it comes to actually deploying the resources that these companies want from the economy. So all that goes into the mix and kind of forms a bit of a negative mood music around Ireland. Then there's also the issue around companies when they're looking at Europe. They now may be thinking, look, could we be hit by retrospective fines or back taxes? And when we're looking about where to allocate our big pile of foreign direct investment cash, does that make it a bit of a headwind for Europe and therefore for Ireland as well? And then there's the good domestic political problem of how you spend 14.1 billion or 13.8 billion or whatever it is on the
Sean's
face of it
eyebrows
again.
just shut up. He's got a few ideas.
Possibility. I'm thinking of the manifesto.
But I mean,
It's a good problem to have.
The things going around yesterday, we could build 6 children's hospitals. We could buy like hundreds of thousands of
We
Oasis
have a few
tickets.
houses, lads.
Or more
5.2
housing.
million
Yeah, I mean,
MacBooks.
that's obviously going to be the issue. And people are going, we have a housing crisis. Why don't we just
Build
take
some
that money
houses.
and build houses for everyone?
It will be. And look, that's going to be the big thing now is how do we actually go and spend it? I personally loved Gavin Riley's tweet of this parish, 32,000 bike sheds, Oireachtas bike sheds you could buy with this for that price. But it is going to become part of it because Jack Chambers yesterday very much playing down, look, this is not money that we're going to have in the budget. It's not going to be part of the budget. But the temptation is also always going to be there. And I think it will be part of the manifestos when it comes to October. It shouldn't be spent on, things that like upping wages across the public sector, say, because that's stuff you have to account for.
No.
But
every single budget.
infrastructure.
But some big project. You could build the metro. You could do something genuinely transformational with that kind of money in Ireland. You could also waste it very, very easily.
That's the
so
issue.
this is going to be the problem. Does it get frittered away on small things like electricity credits or some other thing like that, just giving money back to people in order to buy a vote, for example.
But we know that that's increasing inflation. Like all of these things are increasing inflation.
But politically, it's very attractive.
Or do they
People suddenly
do the most boring thing and put it into those long-dated funds for infrastructure in the future and for climate change and stuff like that, which will really spoil the party. I mean, the other thing is that like one of the grounds they have to defend is the fact that they defended this for so long.
Yeah.
And they were beaten up all day by the opposition and will be, I suspect, next week as well for refusing to take this money, for fighting it tooth and nail, which they will obviously counter by saying, look, we had to defend the economic model of the state, which relies on stability and also going out to bat for the multinational sector. But the politics of that are not straightforward, particularly with an election coming.
Like they do have, because I think I'm a sort of an intelligent person, but I was going yesterday, what is going on here? Well, I can't, do they need to come out and just explain this in black and white for your average voter going, this is why we had to do this?
But that's why it's such a tricky political problem, because it's a very easily understood thing to say the government refused to take 14.1 billion in tax that it was due and that a court had found. It is a much more, you could say, sophisticated or esoteric or just complicated thing to explain, well, the industrial policy of the state, taxation, multinationals, all that, they pay PAYE, they pay PRSI. When you're explaining, you're losing. And you can see the vulnerability in the attack lines that the opposition were taking all day yesterday and will be taking all the way through across the autumn.
There is also a thing about global corporations not wanting to pay tax in any country that they are in, and this happening all over the world. We'd love to hear from you today because they are going to be coming to your doorsteps very soon, opposition parties and people in the government. This is €14 billion. We've got an awful lot of issues in this country. What do you think? What would you ask someone to do if they're coming to your doorstep looking for your vote? What do you want them to do with that money? 0896 111 111.
Yes, thank you very much, guys, for joining us this morning.
Jack,
thank you.
Sean, thank you both so much. Thanks a million.
Now, coming up, Tommy is going to be meeting some rugby royalty.
Delighted. He's never met a rugby player.
A hockey hero and a singing sensation. All in the one go. We'll be back here very shortly.
Thanks a million. Welcome back. Now, Tommy swapped the studio for the golf course this morning and he's meeting some of Ireland's just bigger stars than himself.
Really? Tommy, who have you got with you?
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, I am here in Royal County Down in the beautiful, stunning golf course for the Amgen Irish Open. Now, before the McIlroys and the Lowrys hit the course, I am here for a Pro-Am day. It's the amateurs hitting the course today, but by the chat of them, their golf is right there up that top level as well. Former Irish rugby captain Rory Best, former Irish hockey captain Katie Mullen, and probably the greatest sports person of them all, frontman for Westlife, Shane Fine. Good morning to you all.
Good morning, Tommy.
Shane, I'm expecting big things. You spend a lot of time in the golf course, I gather. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, but I'm not feeling good about the wind, to be honest, off the left. It's going to be tricky, but it's looking beautiful and it's great to be here. Great
Absolutely
to be
stunning course, isn't it?
It's incredible, yeah. It's absolutely incredible.
Katie, as a hockey player, this is a dab hand. You'll be showing these guys up.
Well, I hope the wind is kind to my hockey slice to the right and brings it back into a straight line. That's all I can say.
You played a lot of camogie though as well. Did you play camogie and then get yourself into hockey, or how did that go?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, camogie was my first love. So yeah, stick and ball kind of sport suits me. So I just need to control the short game a little bit and not blow it over the back of the green.
Okay, well, golf, listen, no bother. Just keep the head down, be fine. Rory, how's your golfing going? You're actually a member of this golf course, so you'll be able to show everybody that.
We're all
where to
relying,
go,
yeah.
exactly.
I can tell you where you're meant to hit it, Tommy. I also know where not to hit it because I've been there plenty of times, but the golf's okay. Look, I love it. I'd play as much as I could and get out and about. I have a son now that's trying to get a lower handicap than me, so that tends to sharpen the mind a little bit to make sure that he doesn't overtake me too soon. But no, looking forward to this. The sun's out, the wind is blowing quite strongly, but look, it should be a good day. It'll be a good day's crack.
It's a stunning venue. The sun is shining as well. Hopefully it's going to get a bit warmer as the day goes on as well. But you, as I mentioned, you are a member here. You do normally play, but you don't normally play in front of... There's a big crowd here, people watching. You're going to be teeing off very shortly as well. What are the nerves like whenever you're lining up and you see a tunnel of maybe 100 people all hoping not to get hit in the head?
You know, it's funny, Tommy, you can sort of play sport in front of 80,000 people and you don't really give it a second thought when you get out onto the pitch, but whenever you tee off, even in front of a starter here is nerve-wracking, but in front of an actual crowd, especially when you go a bit wayward and they form this lovely, perfect tunnel towards the flag, and you have to give the old, guys, just, that's where I want to hit it, but if you go back a bit, and as soon as you stand over the ball, you can feel everyone creeping back in, so just the main thing is try not to hurt somebody. Touch wood, but don't hurt somebody today.
Fingers crossed, it'll be on live on camera.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Katie, you're actually the only female taking part in this. No pressure.
Yeah, I know. I hope the women's tees are nice to me today. But yeah, I've played a lot with my two older brothers the last couple of weeks, which is perfect prep. So no pressure, lads.
My sister was a hockey player and she could hit the ball an absolute mile. Are you the same?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, a lot of
timing.
strength behind it, and just trying to control the direction is the main thing. But yeah, hopefully just have lots of fun. What other sport do you get to go out and play with the very best and at the very top of their game the day before they play in a major competition? I know if someone asked me to play hockey with them the day before, I don't know how I'd feel about it. So it's such a unique experience, so really looking forward to it.
Right, it is. It's an amazing experience and getting to take part in it as well. Can I ask you, from the hockey point of view, obviously when the Irish women's team didn't make the Olympics, I'm sure it was heartbreaking, but is it a case of just regathering now and getting going again? Are you looking forward to getting yourself back out onto the pitch again?
Yeah, definitely. We've grown a lot in the last 6 years and brought on a lot of youth, and sometimes, you know, those difficult times when you don't qualify or what makes you stronger makes you better, and I've no doubt we'll come back better for Europeans next year and a World Cup after that. So the sport's in a really, really good place. The game's growing so much, and yeah, the Irish women's hockey team are definitely fighting to be in the top 10 in the world continuously.
On the right trajectory, absolutely. Shane, you're just back from Asia playing. Since those Aviva stadium tours, you've literally been all over the East playing to incredible crowds.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, we've been kind of finished up the tour there recently, so we've been on tour since the Aviva about 2 years ago. So it's been brilliant. It's been lovely. It's been an amazing experience. Got to go all over the world and got to go to America for the first time. We did our first shows in America this year, which was an incredible experience. All the kids and families went with us, so it was lovely. But nice to be at home now for a bit of downtime and a bit of golf practice.
Everybody talks about the Irish and the crowds and the atmosphere.
Yeah.
What's it like over in China? Because I know you've played to like over 300,000 people over there. It must be phenomenal.
Yeah, it is, and you do see Irish flags everywhere we go. It's lovely to see it. You know, you could be thousands of miles away from home and you see an Irish flag, or you'll hear the crowd singing "Ole Ole." You'll have people with a Cork flag or a Tipperary flag or whatever it may be, even a Sligo flag, all over the world, and it's lovely to see. It makes you feel obviously at home and makes it feel a bit more special as well, what we're doing all over the world. You know, it's good fun and we're still doing it and we're loving it.
And for Westlife to be so popular all over that side of the world.
Yeah, like especially with Asia and China. So like My Love, the Westlife song, is in the English curriculum for children in China. So basically they're kind of, you know, they learn it as part of their learning English. So everywhere we go, My Love is like an anthem over there. So.
And they don't have that in the Irish curriculum.
No, they're forced. They're forced. Literally, they know Westlife whether they like it or not. So they grow up with Westlife, and then obviously the parents get to know it, and then everyone seems to know it. So it's nice.
I have to ask, because on IrelandAM we embraced artificial intelligence and did a whole show designed by AI. You embraced AI as well and got a song.
A Chinese company did an AI version of a very famous song in China, and basically did an AI version of our voices, which was incredible. It was really, really unusual, actually, really weird to hear how perfect it was, you know, and how like it was our voices. But you know, AI is a thing all over the world now, different things, but it's for a Chinese language, we'd embrace it, but obviously that's about it. You know, we wouldn't go further than that.
That's quite amazing.
But it's good for the fans to see it because they get to hear a famous song, because it would take us about 6 months to learn it probably. So they did it in obviously like a couple of weeks.
I mean, AI being able to copy your voice, one thing a robot couldn't do is run into a wall as quick as you could.
You're going to say it with my voice, Tommy?
Just running into things. Listen, it is a big year for Irish rugby as well. Their 150th year. The success of Andy Farrell and the Irish team over the last couple of years is phenomenal. What do you expect? And now, given that it's going to be a bit of a transitional period, I think, for Irish rugby.
Yeah, look, it might be. I think when you get to the top, sometimes the hardest thing is staying there, and that's going to be the test for these guys. It's also a British and Irish Lions year, so you're going to have guys that are wanting to peak going into the end of this season. It's going to be brilliant. Look, November before internationals, the Aviva, I'm sure, will be sold out, and that 150th sort of celebratory game on
4, we're just here at 4. Or he did mention getting hit in the head. Right.
That game being at the Aviva at the end of November, like I say, against Australia, look, that'll be
amazing.
It'll be amazing, and the dinner before it that us retired people can go to, and then go to the game, which you didn't used to when you played. So look, it's Irish rugby is in a great place, and it's because of the youth systems coming through, and you look at the way the under-20s have been over the last number of years with the number of Grand Slams and championships they've won, and that just keeps feeding the machine, and that's what you need.
Absolutely. Well, Irish golf seems to be going the right trajectory as well. Listen, Shane Filan, Katie Mullen and Rory Best, great to have you with us. Teeing off very shortly here at the Amgen Irish Open in Royal County Down. Back to you guys in studio.
Look at him in his element down there.
He's so handsome. Look at the way the light is shining on his hair. So handsome. He's like, take the camera off me. Take it off me now.
Quick.
We're going to be back over to Tommy in a while. We're going to watch him tee off, I believe. He's going to be side acting legend Jimmy Nesbitt and champion jockey AP McCoy.
Some great guests down there. So we've also Pork in the Kitchen, and we're going to have a look at some abstract art, which is behind us here. And it's
He's picking out which one he wants for his house.
I think it's absolutely gorgeous stuff here this morning. We're back in a few minutes.
This week on IrelandAM, we've teamed up with Expressway.ie to give you the chance to win an amazing prize of a 2-night bed and breakfast stay with select hotels, including an evening meal and a gift box. Do you plan on taking a city break to do some shopping or a day trip with a family member or friend? Make sure to always check departure times, arrive on time, and don't forget to use your free travel pass if you're eligible. It's just the ticket to enjoy more with Expressway.ie. For your chance to win this great prize, just text or call the numbers on screen and answer this question. In transport, the schedule of departure times is known as A. Timetable, or B. Bus table. To enter, call 1550 999 333 or text WIN to 57199. Best of luck.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We're going to start with the Mirror, the headline there. Hayes could be hurled into jail. Hurling star Kyle Hayes, he is facing jail time after being convicted yesterday of driving at 155 kilometres an hour.
The star leads with hurler Kyle faces jail time. The Limerick All-Ireland winner was put off the road for 2 years at Mallow District Court yesterday for dangerous driving.
The Herald goes with cruel trolls mock the death of criminal James Jaws Byrne. The bogus notices, they are being shared widely on social media. They attack Byrne and repeatedly refer to his ties in the drugs trade. Byrne, known to family and friends as Jemmy, he died last Saturday night.
The Irish Times front page reads, concern in coalition at the fallout from the Apple ruling on the Apple tax. The government is scrambling control the fallout from the Apple tax ruling after the Court of Justice of the European Union found the computing giant must pay over 13 billion to Ireland.
Spending of Apple billions to be election battleground. Politicians expect this will be an election issue and is likely to feature prominently in political party manifestos. That's ahead, of course, of the general election, which Simon Harris has said it's not being called anytime soon. That's the front of the Irish Independent.
The Examiner leads with Apple windfall will not impact budget. The Finance Minister, Jack Chambers, has warned that Ireland's near 14 billion windfall from the tech giant Apple will not mean any giveaways for the public in the budget.
Cabinet's shock at our over €13 billion windfall is the top story on the Daily Mail.
And The Sun leads with the same story. Its headline reads, we love this. How do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples? That's the best headline this morning.
I can hear Matt Damon in my ear from Good Will Hunting there.
Now, up next, we're going to be checking back in with Tommy before he starts at the Amgen Irish Open Pro-Am.
Yeah, he's going to be speaking to acting royalty Jimmy Nesbitt and champion jockey A.P. McCoy. He's playing with them, isn't he?
Yeah.
Tommy's playing with the two lads. Back here very shortly on IrelandAM.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, Tommy is in County Down this morning, warming up before he tees off at the Irish Open, and he's got some very famous faces with him.
More famous than himself? What? Excuse me? Tommy, how are you getting on?
Hey guys, yes, thank you very much. I am here in Royal County Down for the Amgen Irish Open. It is Pro-Am Day, which means the great golfers are going to go out a little bit later on, and the donkey amateurs like myself and my guests are going to be going out very shortly. They tell me now they're very good though, so I'm expecting big things. I'm going to be teeing off in a few minutes alongside the great Jimmy Nesbitt and A.P. McCoy. Good morning to you guys.
Morning, Tommy.
How are you feeling? You don't look cold at all.
No, it's lovely. It's just one of those moments where I think, why do I agree to these things?
I mean, it is a special occasion though. The Irish Open is always a great day out, great couple of days for Irish golf, but particularly in Royal County Down, it is a stunning course.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it's. I'm a Portrush man, so obviously I'm a wee bit biased, but it is. It's so
Careful
beautiful.
what you say, yeah.
After Portrush, you mean? It's so beautiful, and but it's tough, you know. But great people, and it's just a great sense of community. They all come together, they come and support, and it couldn't be a more idyllic setting, really. But it's fresh now.
Do you play a lot of golf?
I play a fair amount, not very good golf, but I can play up there a lot now in Portrush, and I travel a wee bit with it. But I'm very hit and miss, actually, literally.
And for you, AP, are you handy enough golf, or do you play a right bit?
I'm all right, Tommy. I often used to think that the good thing about being a jockey is you can blame the horse, but it's very difficult to blame clubs that Rory McIlroy or Shane Lowry or Padraig Harrington are in, isn't it? So
he's very, very competitive.
Very competitive.
So, yeah. Just not very good. But
well, I'm a bit scared about how I'm going to go alongside you guys. But what about you at the minute, though, AP? Obviously, you've stepped away from racing at the minute. You're involved in a lot of training, though, at the minute. How do you enjoy that?
I still do some work for ITV Racing. I do a bit of stuff with William Hill. I still help JP. I'm very lucky to still be involved with him with a lot of good years. Riding for them. So I've got 4 sisters and 1 brother, and they've never been in a horse in their life. So, but I love horse. I love riding. I ride every morning if I can. So it's just one of those things. You know, you're very lucky. We're very lucky to live our life through sport, or Jimmy through acting. You know, I mean, never done a day's work in our life, have we?
I mean, it's amazing to think, though, the strength in quality of jockeys that we've had in this country. Yourself, champion jockey, you think of the Ruby Walshes, the many great names, and the great actors. You think of the Cillian Murphys, Liam Neesons, yourself. It's an abundance. We, as a country, punch well above ourselves in so many different fields.
I mean, I think in terms of acting, you know, it's so historic. We're a nation of storytellers, and that leads into it, you know, and people are supportive of each other. And you know, there's great writers here, artists. I mean, there's such an enormous canvas, and the acting it has been incredible. To watch Cillian do so well, you know, bring that Oscar home for the first time was fantastic. Yeah,
and for that, do you think it's a growing industry for more people to be getting into? Do you think that it's something that more and more people, young people, are going to get into?
Well, I think what's different here from across water is that, you know, there's a debate over there about there being a kind of class issue with going into acting, but here anyone can do it. You know, kids are doing it. There's lots of young youth groups going around. So, yeah, I think, and there's so much filming happens here. You know. Because like the HBO and the Game of Thrones and all that, you know, they've got the seaside there, the mountains there, they've got urban there, and they've got a Northern Ireland Film Council that is very welcoming. So it's brilliant here.
And I think if someone's doing well, I think in a sport or acting, I think young people pick up on it. You know, when I was a kid, you know, you liked Pat Jennings or George Best or Dennis Taylor, Alex Higgins, Barry McGuigan, whatever it was, you kind of followed it, didn't you? And I think if someone's doing well in a
inspires you.
It inspires young people to want to be like them, doesn't it? I think.
And then having the likes of the Irish Open here as well, with the likes of the Harringtons, the McIlroys, the Shane Lowrys as well, inspiring the next generation too, so important.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes I think when you look back, and if someone said to you, if you were a 13 or 14-year-old kid and someone said, oh, you're going to end up like a Rory McIlroy or whoever it is. I think, you know, it's amazing to think that they have people they look up to as well. You know what I mean? I'm sure Rory McIlroy looking up to Tiger Woods or whoever it may be, you know. And
we've also got young Tom McKibben here, you know. Yeah. Through. I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, it's just an endless kind of. I mean, if you see the young boys play up at Port Rushland, I mean, they're incredible. 14, 15, you know, hitting par, you know. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they're extraordinary. The future's very bright, I think, you know.
They're going to put us through our paces as well. Now, tell me, you were at the All-Ireland hurling final.
I was, yeah.
Only a couple of weeks ago.
Aye.
Would you have had an interest? Did you ever go to a hurling match before? How did that come about?
Neil McManus, you know, Neil sort of Antrim legend, you know. Just the most fabulous, charming, brilliant, strong guy. I met him a few years ago and he got me to an All-Ireland semi last year. And then he invited me down with the Beeb to the All-Ireland this year, and it was one of the truly great sporting occasions. And I'll watch anything. I've been to everything. You know, I love sport, but this was beyond anything. The skill and the stamina and the courage and the speed, and it was just electrifying.
I know you mentioned saying that growing up in your part of up in the North Coast, you never got the opportunity to really watch much hurling. No. And it was unfortunate because such a fast, exciting sport on this country.
Absolutely, I really think it was brilliant that they showed it kind of nationwide. Yeah. They showed it in Great Britain as well as here. I think it was important that people from my background got a chance to see a sport that they didn't know, and I think that's one of the sadnesses of the past. But you know, it is an ever-evolving place here now.
It's a good thing about the future, though. You think that you can move on and try and look forward, because it is. I remember Steve McManaman came to an All-Ireland hurling match and thought it was the best thing he ever was at in his life. You know what I mean? So.
I think there's an opportunity for the sports that they were unfamiliar with.
It's one of the great things, though, about sport. It does bring different communities together, and particularly you guys know as much as anyone else.
Oh, it's a big glue, you know. It's a very important unifier. You know?
Absolutely. OK, right. Listen, we're about to get started. I think I'm going to tee off now for my first. Oh, look, you've given me an iron. I could do with a driver for the first one. But anyway, listen, it's live television. What could go wrong? OK, right. I'm going to borrow
Tommy, do you need a caddy?
Deric, over to you. Have we got a tee? I could do with the tee as well. We've got a ball. Right. What could go wrong? Here we go.
Anyway, there we have it. Tommy T. Bow, a.k.a. Sporty Spice, lining up here at the first at the Amgen Irish Open. Beautiful setting here at Royal County Down. This 18-hole championship links course, hosting a whole heap of international Irish stars, including Padraig Harrington, Rory McIlroy, and Shane Lowry. Poised and ready to play. Will Tommy land his eagle, or will Bow bend on this par 5 fairway?
On the
Beautiful
green.
shot, Tommy Bell. Off to a cracking start here.
Thank you.
The crowd are loving it.
Cheers, I'll see you in a minute. Thank you,
like
Deric.
that, Tommy? He did well, didn't he?
Hi, Deric, tell him to come over. No, they can't hear us. They've stopped.
They can't hear us.
Didn't
Okay.
he do well?
Didn't he do well?
Didn't he do well? And Deric with his English accent.
His commentary, Derek's commentary voice.
I'm
here
in.
he is. He's coming back over. No, he's not. No, he's going, will I?
Will I bother? Will I not?
No,
I thought he did fantastic.
Well, the whole country is waiting to see.
Very impressed.
No, right.
I think Deric has to take over some horse racing or golfing commentary. Not horse racing, but he could do horse racing. That was very good. Sporty Spice Tommy Bow is what we're going to be calling him for the rest of the show. Anyway, on the way, Jack is making a sizzling, crispy dish.
And yet we're meeting an artist whose paintings have ended up in the homes of celebrities. So don't
Maybe
go anywhere.
another one after the show.
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Talk to you in a
But
minute.
I'm not a celebrity. Now, lots of texts coming in about our windfall that we heard about yesterday. Nearly over 13 billion taxes that we were owed, that the government didn't want, but we're getting it. And we asked you, what did you think of it? Of course, we were getting lots of texts in. And keep those texts coming in. What would you spend on the nearly over 13 billion euro we're getting? What would you want to do with that money? You can WhatsApp us on 089 611 111. And Noel said, I didn't realise this. It cost nearly 10 million of taxpayers' money fighting against Europe not to get the billions in. a lot of things could have been done with that 10 million.
Yeah, it's been 10 years now that they've been going against the European Commission in order not to take this money from Apple, because they have said, the government, of course, that we didn't do a sweetheart deal, and they do pay their tax and they've got their corporation tax, but Europe have found against them. Donna, the money could do a lot to help with the healthcare crisis, updating to electronic medical records. Oh my God,
so you
how
weren't
long?
walking around with this much when you ever see.
We're years behind in that. How many years behind are we in that? Providing funds for primary care and keeping healthcare staff in Ireland. Yeah, there's also a report today that teachers, in relation to other OECD countries, they are, all of the teacher salaries, they're going up. Our teacher salaries are going down. They're dropping by 6% in comparison to inflation. And Richie says those who did not want the Apple tax should not have the right to decide how it is spent.
But who's going to spend it?
I think they'll have to.
They're going to have to do it whether they want it or not.
But do you want it in housing, or do you want something like a capital project like the Metro, which benefits, I suppose, the Dublin and greater area? I think there's a lot of roads around the country, a lot of people going with like a few bypasses going on. Let us know, 096 111 111.
Now, a man who costs billions for us to get here every week.
Billions? My goodness.
Jack O'Keefe's in the kitchen. Good morning to you, Jack.
What's the story?
How are you? You're making...
Don't say my pork is burnt.
I said to him, that's a bit burnt. You're making crispy pork.
Crispy pork, crispy deep fried pork.
Right.
It's class. It's the proper kind of, I suppose, as like the sports are coming back on the TV at the weekend, it's a great little snack. It's a great one if you're watching TV to have crispy pork, guacamole. It's just brilliant, right? So to do it, it's actually quite simple.
What's it called?
Chicharrones.
Okay,
I guarantee I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Butcher, is it Mexican?
It's Mexican, Latin American. It comes from Colombia, Venezuela, Central America, Mexico. So
that's where the avocado and stuff comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah, for the region.
And a lot of
local
pork
food
is consumed. You know, and it's traditionally they'd actually pick it up in the supermarket, but we're making it ourselves here in the studio.
So what do we do?
We start off with nice chunks of pork belly. Get these in your normal supermarket or go to your local butcher shop.
I get them like that in the supermarket. They're actually quite inexpensive, aren't they?
It's one of the most affordable and most delicious pieces of meat you can get from your supermarket, or else the handy thing about going to your local butcher, though, is the butcher will leave on the rind.
The butcher is fantastic.
Oh, no, you can get them on the rind in some of the supermarkets as well.
You know me now, I like promoting the local butcher.
I think they're nicer from the butcher.
No, but like with the rind, I find when you do this deep frying part, you get a nice puff off the rind, because when the rind deep fries, it gets really crispy on it. But anyway, to start off with, I'm just going to do a little bit of magic, and that's shake some baking soda onto the pork belly. What that does, it just helps it brown up, helps it crispen up while it's cooking. Just a pinch, along with some salt. It's a great little trick as well if you want to get a kind of a really super crispy skin on a whole roasted chicken. So if you take your chicken...
Baking soda over your...
Baking soda. So you mix some baking soda and salt together, rub it all over your chicken, leave your chicken exposed, uncovered in the fridge overnight.
Oh.
And then the following day, bake it off in a hot oven. Amazing. Your skin just goes like glass, like a sheet of glass.
Oh, wow.
Outrageous, yeah.
Okay.
Ideally,
It's
leave
a bit
that...
planning, but then if you just know it's going to be in the oven...
Leave that for about an hour to 2 hours, right?
Is your chicken okay to be left open?
It's fine. Everything else in the fridge is covered. Do you know what I mean? So it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Now...
Let's not start the salmonella debate today, please. I don't have it in me. I do not have it in me today.
Don't make me the Nick Leo Varadkar.
Don't.
Right. Anyway, you can leave that for about an hour or two. You don't need to do this part. It just makes it extra crispy.
Okay.
All right? To be perfectly honest, with the batch I made yesterday, which is there in the frying pan,
I forgot going into hot water.
What's that going into?
That's going into cold water, barely covered, right?
Okay.
And then we just keep it on a nice medium to low heat. And you let that simmer away for about an hour to an hour and a half.
But that's like you do old-fashioned pork ribs.
Oh my God, it's bringing me back to Irish college.
And really slowly cook it until this happens.
Right. It doesn't go brown like that. Does it show? Keep it there on the thing. No, put it back down. It goes brown like that, does it?
Yeah. Now, in fairness, I put a tiny little bit of the seasoning mix just into the water yesterday.
To make it...
Just to give it a little bit of extra flavour. Now, at home, you can pop in some onion, you can pop in some garlic, you can put in some fajita spice mix, taco spice mix, whatever you want, you can put in here. And then as it simmers down, it reduces down. And what happens is, as the water is reducing down, it lets the fat come out of the pork. And you can see that lovely little bit of fat in the bottom of the pan.
Right. Yeah.
And then, once you have that stage,
is it done then? It's cooked?
No. So then at that stage, then, you can crank the heat up a little bit, add a little bit of either lard or oil to it, and just leave it on a maybe medium to low temperature. And after about 15-20 minutes, you're left with that.
You put it in...
You
put it back in a pan, no?
No, I just use this pan just to make it easier in the studio so people could see.
Oh, I thought you just put it in the pan to cremate them.
So we went from those lovely big
Yeah.
pieces of pork
Down to that.
this.
Yeah, down to that.
Why, Jack? Why would why?
So it's like when you're making beef jerky. So traditionally it would have been a way of preserving lots and lots of pork.
Okay.
Do they actually shrink to that?
They actually shrink to that, yeah. Completely down.
Okay.
All right, they're super crispy. They're almost like...
Jack, sorry, come back for a second. How long then do you leave it in that water?
Simmering. That'll take about an hour to an hour and a half.
An hour and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the water just totally evaporates?
Totally evaporates, and all it leaves behind is the natural fat from the pork. Some pork is quite fatty and it can actually deep fry in its own fat. But I always add a little bit of lard, a little bit of oil, just to give it a little bit extra crunch, right? Now.
So are you making these into like fajitas or something, is it?
You can if you want. So I just crunch those up.
Chickaroonies.
Right? Pop them onto
We're going to see the magic happen.
The confusion. Pop them onto some kitchen paper like that, right?
Yeah.
And again, as I said, they're a bar snack. It's like beef jerky or biltong. You know, it's similar to that. Now, for the avocado, I've just popped an avocado into...
Biltong, is that the South African one?
That's the South African version of jerky.
Okay, yeah.
So we take our avocado, cut it in half, scoop out the core.
Okay.
Some lime juice. I have some lime zest already in here.
Okay.
A fork, and just mash it up. We don't want it completely smooth and perfect. You just want it nice and rustic.
So this is your dipping. This is what you're going to be dipping in?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this now onto the plate.
Okay.
But before I do that, just a little bit different. I'm going to bring the passion here. I'm going to add some passion fruit into it.
Now, is this traditional? Because I love a bit of passion fruit.
Not really, no. It's a bit different.
Okay.
It's a Jack twist.
The Jack twist, right?
Twist, okay.
Avocado can be quite sweet and heavy. So passion fruit can be quite sour and zingy.
Okay.
So I go light on the lime, add in the passion fruit, and it adds that nice little crunch to it.
And all these are in season, because I was actually buying avocados the other day. But are passion fruits around? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Some diced...
There's no such thing as in season anymore, really, is it? You can have anything.
So diced tomato, some coriander, some salt, like so. Mix it all up. And then smear that onto a plate. And again, this will ideally be perfect for like...
Oh, so it is like a snack then? We're not talking about a main meal here, are we?
No.
I feel like this would be ideal for Tommy Bow.
It'd be like replacing your nachos. If you're going watching a football game or whatever, or the Premiership at the weekend, or the rugby when it comes back.
Be a nice little starter as well if you're having people
And then
over.
some raw white onion.
I love a bit of raw onion.
Jeez, must call around for your games. No bag of crisps in the middle of in a bowl
God,
of it
no,
for
it's
you.
an event.
Lord above.
Okay, that looks lovely.
Right,
Okay,
bit of
let's have a
coriander on
taste.
top. And like that.
There we go.
And I have some tortillas here if you want to build your own little...
You have some
little
what?
tacos.
No. It's lovely and tasty, yeah.
Yeah, it's crispy fried pork.
Yeah. Jack, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. Lovely.
It's interesting. It's chewy. Very chewy. It might take a while. It is. It's meant to be chewy.
I leave my burnt pork alone.
Jack, well done.
Well done,
We're coming
Jack.
all the way up the
Fabulous.
motorway. I'm putting up with this. I'm so sorry.
The raw onion's lovely.
Up
Next
next.
time we're going to meet her who took up art during lockdown and now has a celebrity clientele. See you
Yes.
after the break.
I'll show you in a minute. Welcome back now from creating art in her kitchen to having pieces commissioned by Amy Huberman and bought by the likes of Una Healy, as well as a few real housewives. Jess Kelly's artwork is making waves.
Yeah, that's the housewives. So how did this mum of four turn her passion into a career? Well, Jess joins us now to tell us all. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
And
Good morning.
we're going to look at your pieces there in a moment. But yeah, tell us then how all this started for you.
I'm going to say COVID and lockdown because it's probably where it really kicked off. I am on those stories. But art has always been a huge part of my life. And then it wasn't until, I suppose, lockdown kind of kicked off that I was able to kind of explore different styles and mediums and textures and see where I kind of fell into. And that's where I ended up being in the kind of more textural, kind of abstract
Your mum
field.
was an artist.
Mum, no, I wouldn't say like artist profession, but yeah, look, she
it was
painted at
something that
home.
you
Yeah,
do,
of course,
like, you know,
yeah.
'cause
Mum
I
was-
never had that in my home,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
I know people then,
Yeah.
like if there's that's in your house, you do. Did you
Yeah.
pick it up when you were younger?
Yeah, like I was just kind of like, look, I was kind of always painting, being creative when I was smaller. Mum was always painting away as well, like, you know, she'd do it on the side as a hobby as well. So for me, it was, I suppose, probably an early influence. And then it was just kind of figuring out what kind of style then I liked.
And we've got some of your gorgeous pieces here that we're going to see in a couple of minutes. They're massive because you've got an exhibition coming up. But the first piece that you sold was because a lot of us picked up things during lockdown. I mean, I still have me bit of knitting done. Didn't turn it into a jumper. Look at these. They're amazing. How did the first piece you sold come about?
So it was, again, just playing around with styles, textures, and I just popped it up on my own personal Facebook page. And it was Kerry Nicole, actually, I know she's a model here on IrelandAM. She messaged me and she was like, are these for sale? And I was thinking, yep, they're for sale. But even like part of me was thinking like, oh God, how am I even going to sell these? But that was my first piece that sold. And from there, it was just the interest gathered. I just thought then towards the end of 2020, around Christmas, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to set up an Instagram, put it out there, see how it goes. And it just kind of went from there.
And we're looking at them now and we're seeing them. And it's a very distinct style.
Yeah.
So is that something that you decided that this would be my style?
Yeah.
Or is it something that you were drawn to?
No, it was kind of like, again, it was just once I started playing with textures, it just organically fell to that style. And once I kind of landed with it, that's when I felt like, no, this is exactly where I want to be with it.
So what is it? Is it paint layered on top of each other? Because when you're looking at them up close, it's nearly like it's standing off the canvas.
Yeah, it's texture. So it's initially kind of a different kind of structural texture. So the texture really pops off the canvas. And then after that, then it's layers of paint and a blend into different kind of tones. And I suppose gives the effect of, like the pink one, for example, gives the effect of a sunset.
They're beautiful and they're absolutely striking. He's picking walls that they will fit on, wants different sizes. But when someone because you can only imagine that people, how much it would mean. You've got a marketing background, you still work in marketing. But when someone like Amy Huberman, wants a piece commissioned, or Una Healy, or the Real Housewives end up asking for these paintings, that kicks things up a gear, I'm assuming.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It definitely helps. But yeah, no, it definitely helps when they start kind of getting interest. And then Una, for example, they put it up on her Instagram. I never asked her to put it up on her feed, so that was fantastic to get that. And look, it's nice to say that, but COVID was probably the catapult.
Because
how did the housewives then get involved?
I actually don't know. I think it was
through
just
Instagram as well,
through
or just
Instagram, and it was just
them?
there was a good few American people that were following me at that time. And then Tiffany Moon, who's on The Real Housewives of Dallas, followed me and she just started messaging me, showing me pictures of her walls and areas that she'd like a piece for. I just went from there.
So that's it, you're kind of seeing inside their house.
Yes, yes.
And then you kind of collaborate as to what it is, because it is definitively your style.
Yes.
But then you kind of talk about what will fit in the space.
Exactly, yeah.
That's kind of nice to be able to go, okay, we can make this work, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. It's a collaborative piece. When I'm working with people, it's definitely collaborative. It's not like, look, I just want this. It's they send me pictures of their interiors, their home, their wall space, to give me an idea of what they like from a tone point of view. So some people like a lot more vibrant colours and some people like a lot more neutral colours and want a little bit more minimalistic. So once they send me in the photos, I generally get a good sense of what their interior space is like and what they like. And then I just start mocking up different styles on their walls, and then we kind of go from there then.
So you'd mock up a few
so once I get a photo, I pop different sizes and different styles, and then I go, it's like trying on a wedding dress, you know.
But a Real Housewife is decadent, their houses ain't subtle. It's kind of like you have to go big and bold, don't you?
Yeah, like Tiffany's piece was quite large, and it was quite similar to the purpley piece there.
We saw her there unpacking it there, because it was shipped over to America to her.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, you're a mum, as we were saying, a busy mum. So how long does it take to do these pieces, and where do you get the time? Do you have a little workspace away from the house, or?
Yeah, so it was in the kitchen.
It was in the kitchen. How did you manage?
Cooking dinner, and then I was painting away. But
and the kids go, don't touch that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sticking fingers in paint. But yeah, I was in the kitchen for a while, and then I just grew out that space. I was probably on the brink of probably getting divorced at one stage, because it was just canvases and boxes and everything there. So I ended up moving down to the studio down the end of the garden, which was a gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have some space.
So you had
we
a
had
space.
some space. Yeah.
How do you feel? Because, you still work in marketing.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, you're a man, which takes up a huge amount of time. Yes. Yourself and your husband, you're in partnership with all of this. But then discovering this, something that you always loved, and lockdown giving that to you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was a creative outlet for you during that time, that people needed to find something.
Yeah.
It was a saviour.
Oh, definitely. Look, people were baking banana bread. I was going to the canvases with the brushes. You know, it was definitely, for me, it was just like meditative, like it was mindfulness. It was just taking that time away from everything that was happening. I was working from home. We were homeschooling the kids. So having that hour or 2 hours in the evening just to kind of play around on the canvas and not having been on the phone or being on social media or being with the kids was lovely. And it still feels therapeutic to me still to be, you know, to go down to the studio and switch off, turn the music on and get to it.
And then big news is that you are going to have your first gallery showing.
Yes. So I haven't announced that yet, but yes, I am having my first.
Should we announce it now? Should we announce it now?
Yes, go for it. Yeah, I know it's going to be announced today, but yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, we're preempting it. We're getting a world exclusive on IrelandAM.
Yes, first exhibition is on the 8th of October. So on Wicklow Street in Dublin, so it's great, nice and central. So first solo exhibition completely. So I'll have like a range of like the pieces that I have here today and then different ones. So totally open to the public.
You had your own moving man this morning coming in and out of studio.
I did, my husband.
He's very good. He was bringing them in. I went over to say hello to me. He's like, I'm not the artist. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
I'm only bringing them in.
I'm only bringing them in.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see some really lovely stories come out of something that was such a tough time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks
Congratulations.
And people can find you at Jess Kelly Art.
At jesskelly.art.
jesskelly.art.
You can find your website.
So you can go there and look at all your.
Now you can go over and peruse all the pieces, and he'll tell you the shape of his space. And his house
I
and
get
everything.
pictures there
I
later.
think they're fab. I love them.
They're gorgeous.
Really do. They're gorgeous.
Jess, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks
so much for chatting.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
Lovely to chat to you. And now coming up in the final hour of IrelandAM, Deric will be catching up with GA champions at the Irish Open. Tommy, of course, has
he's gone off.
He's started, so we'll check in on him and see how he's going.
Plus, we're speaking to a content creator who brings the Irish language to everyday lives. We'll see you in a few minutes.
This week on IrelandAM, we've teamed up with the Panelling Centre, Ireland's leading destination for quality kitchens, wardrobes and appliances, to give one lucky viewer an amazing prize. With 7 branches across Ireland offering free design consultations, online or in store, we're giving you the chance to win the kitchen of your dreams. For a chance to win a full kitchen makeover worth €20,000, simply answer this question. Which one of these materials is suitable as a kitchen worktop? A. Copper or B. Granite? To enter, call 1550 999 200 or text PRIZE to 57199. Best of luck.
Best of luck with that.
Yes. Now, earlier on, we were chatting about the nearly €14 billion that the Irish government are going to get back in back taxes from Apple. That they don't want.
That they don't want, and also they don't know if other European countries are going to need a piece of that pie as well.
Why would other European countries need a
because
piece
they
of
were
the pie?
saying the fact that taxes were funneled through Ireland. This is the blind payment through Ireland. So they're like, actually, some of those could be our taxes. The Minister for Finance, he wouldn't be drawn on it yesterday, Jack Chambers. So there's a lot to be worked out in relation to this. They're saying that it's staying in the escrow fund. Someone was like, sure, just buy everyone an iPhone and then you can give Apple back the money if you don't want it.
It's incredible that the government embarrassed, and I didn't know, we found out this, well, people did know, that they've spent 10 million in just fighting this in the courts over the last 10 years, not to get nearly 14 billion. Yep. Because I suppose they don't want to be seen that we did a little sweet deal with Apple.
Well, they don't want them to pick up and go somewhere else because they're like, they pay our PAYE, or they're one of our largest employers.
Yeah.
We don't want them leaving. If they leave, we're going to have a huge issue.
They're just going to pick up and close their whole factory.
They can. That's the one thing about our American multinationals. They can pick up and leave in 2 days and be done. That's the nature of them. Anyway, this is what you think should be done with the 14 billion.
Yeah, lots of people getting in touch with us. Mary, connect Dublin Airport to the city by a train. It's about time.
So that's the metro.
We are one with the metro. We were talking about that. The metro could be built with that money if it was just given to them. And I think a lot of people were talking about infrastructure, and the infrastructure should be developed right across the country. There's regional areas in Donegal and places like that need road upgrades, and that we're talking about that.
Susan, the Apple money should be used to pay off the national debt. Our national debt, I think it stands at 223 billion, so it would make a little bit of an inroads, but they're talking about kind of, as you mentioned, capital projects.
Alan said, why not finish the Children's Hospital with the Apple tax?
Please say it's not going to cost another 14 billion. They've spent enough on that hospital. We don't know when they're ever going to open it.
I actually passed it the other day. It is quite impressive to look at.
It is.
I drove
It'd be nice
by
if someone could go into it.
I know, but when I drove by it, I went, my God, it's like this big spaceship at the side.
The Starship Enterprise is in the middle of Rialto.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
With
crazy
no one
looking.
inside.
With nobody inside it.
And Kate said we should spend the 13 billion on healthcare. It's badly needed. We spend the most on healthcare per capita in Europe, and we don't seem to be getting much value for it. So we'd want to see that it was spent properly within healthcare.
And lots more texts coming in. So thank you for all that throughout the morning.
Yeah.
Where would you spend nearly 14 billion?
I don't want to know. You're going on a few holidays. You get a few holidays out of that.
A few holidays on
now,
that.
Up next, we're going to be checking back in with Deric at the Irish Open.
Yes, he'll be meeting some GAA legends right after this quick break.
Welcome back to IrelandAM. Now, Deric is in County Down talking to some of this year's All-Ireland senior football winners.
Yes, over to you, Deric. How are you getting on?
Yes, good morning, team. Welcome back up here to Royal County Down. What a beautiful morning, what a beautiful setting here at the foothills of the Moore Mountains. Time with the Amgen Irish Open. Of course, day one kicking off today with the Pro-Am, and we're joined now by three very special guests, including Rian O'Neill, Charles O'Burns, and of course, Kieran Donaghy. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Morning, Deric.
Yeah, a windy morning, Kieran.
Yeah, windy for sure. Yeah, it's going to be a good test of golf, that's for sure.
It'll be a good test of golf. Anyway, All-Ireland winning champions, and we'll start off with you, Rian, because 6 weeks now since Armagh brought Sam Maguire back to the Orchard County. It's been a long time coming for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose 2002 was the last time we won it, and we were knocking the door the last few years, but it's just nice, to get over the lane and see the joy it brought to the county and the people in it, so yeah, it was a great time, great day a few weeks ago, and great few weeks since.
I mean, I'd say there hasn't a cow hasn't been milked in Armagh since. Has it hit home really the success of what you've achieved?
I suppose it does when you look back at the video of the game and stuff, and people come up to you in the street and tell you what it means to them and how it's put the joy on their face again, So I suppose it's hit 100%, but sometimes you'll be sitting in the house and you'll be just thinking to yourself, geez, did we actually do that? But we did, and it was some achievement, yeah.
Obviously, in the All-Ireland, you had two different routes. Of course, Galway took on Kerry, and then you took on Dublin and Donegal. Did you know you had the upper hand in it going into the final?
I suppose after the Kerry game in the semi-final, it was massive for us to get over one of them big teams, and the way we done it, we came back from 4 or 5 points down twice, and that really gave us the confidence then going into the final that we could do it. I suppose the final was nip and tuck too, but I think we came through that game, the game before, and we knew that we had it in us,
Jarlath Óg, let's talk about the match itself, because it was a cracker of a game, and you were level at half-time at 6 points each.
Yeah, the past few years now between us and ourselves in Galway, there's never been much between us. 2 years ago it went extra time and then penalties, so we always knew it was going to come down in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, and I suppose, as Rian was saying, after winning that tight game against Kerry, against a big team in Croke Park, it sort of gave us the confidence then in the final, saying, look, we can go on and win this game, and thankfully we did.
I think Aaron McKay's goal in the 64th minute, it was a real game changer for you, wasn't it?
Was, yeah. He was the last man I thought that would be in the end of it, but no, listen, he's been making those runs all year, and to get on the end of one in the final was great for him and great for us, and it was a big moment in the game. It sort of gave us that breathing room, but in fairness, they come back hard, but we were able to hold them off.
I mean, you seem to be a very close-knit team. A lot of you, in fact, on the Armagh team have grown up together. You've played together up through the ranks. You've got married. You've had kids. You go to school together. I mean, very close-knit community up there, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And we've probably always suffered together too in terms of the losses and the close losses. And I know myself and Rian would have played underage the whole way up and never won anything, with Armagh. So there was tough times, but we stayed close as a group and knew we were good enough and weren't far away. And thankfully we got a bit of luck this year and we took it.
I mean, Aidan Forker's speech, I think he was hoarse at the end of it. It was a great captain speech, wasn't it?
It was brilliant, yeah. Aidan's a good talker now, and sort of on and off the pitch. He's a teacher like myself, so he's no bother talking in front of people and stuff. So look, it was a big moment for him, and I was delighted for him. He puts a lot of work in, and I was delighted for him.
I mean, we visited Crossmaglen Rangers recently in the run-up to the final. The level of investment in the local community, they really got behind you up there, didn't they?
Yeah, I suppose so. Not even cross. It was all over Armagh. You know, anywhere you went, there was flags and button up, cars painted, the whole lot. You know, and it's a football mad county, and we were just itching for that success. You know, and now that we have it, hopefully we keep it going. You know.
And obviously the championship up and running. You're with Silverbridge, right? Or you're with Silverbridge, yeah. And you're with Cross. So you're actually playing each other at the weekend.
Playing at the weekend.
Are you?
Yeah.
Taking up
Yeah, you will. Nice little rivalry. You're the ref, Kieran. And speaking, like you're a Kerry man, and you must know the roads up north pretty well now.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed the journey with the lads, working closely with them. They're a great bunch to work with. And as Rian said, there was a lot of close calls over the last few years and a lot of heartache. But in fairness to the lads, when the pressure was really at its highest, they performed and got it over the line. I suppose that's what all that counts to the county of Armagh. But yeah, I got out of there after 3 days. I enjoyed 3 days. I got out.
And then you cleared out. But I suppose, Kieran, after 22 years, the county really started a success, weren't they?
Yeah, they had a very good run. Obviously, when they won that All Ireland and throughout Ulster, they were the kingpins at that time, and a team kind of feared around the country really with the size and the shape they were in. And yeah, it was to see the lads do that, and now they're getting the heads down, they're getting back into club football, which is good to see, because it's important to start putting your focuses onto the next thing, which is their clubs, and then they'll take another bit of a break and get back in with the lads. So yeah, it's exciting times for the boys, in fairness.
I mean, obviously you've come from the Kerry team into management. What's that been like for you?
It's a good experience coaching. Kieran and myself played together against Australia in Compromise Rules, and we've had a good enough relationship ever since. And when he asked me to come up, took a bit of thinking, obviously, and. But no, he saw a vision for this team. He'd been working closely with them for 10 years. He just knew there was something in them, and he worked really hard last year and bringing the best out of the lads, and they performed when the pressure was at its highest, as I said.
I mean, let's talk about Geezer, I suppose. The last time Armagh won, he captained them. So, I mean, there's a lovely legacy there, isn't there?
There is, for sure. He's worked hard to gain that, probably harder than anybody in the game, but yeah, no, it was fantastic for him to see him at the final whistle, to finally do what he'd been dreaming of as a coach for the last number of years, was to help these lads get up there and get their first All-Ireland medal, and he accomplished that last year.
And of course, Jarlath Oak, your dad, Jarlath, is the president of the GA. What was that moment like? I think Dad gave you a hug and a kiss, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a strange dynamic now, to be fair. No, I suppose like the rest of the boys were just going to their loved ones and their family and stuff, and he just happened to be up in the stand. So, and a bit.
Well, he happened to be there. He's president of the GAA. To let him in. He found a spare ticket.
Yeah. So I had a bit to go to get up to him. I near mowed Michael D. Higgins on the way up to him, so I had to apologise to him for that one. But
did I see a tear in his eye?
It could have been maybe. Yeah. Look, you couldn't write it like him getting in and his first year in Armagh winning All Ireland, like it's the stuff of dreams. And I suppose having a son on the panel is a different dynamic too as well. So, but in fairness, I sort of was saying to Kieran last night, he lets me at it and I let him at it, so we leave each other alone and let us sort of let each other do our own things.
Yeah, and no pressure for 2025. Galway possibly on your back again, and Kerry as well. Anyway, let's talk about golf, because you're with Cloverhill, aren't you?
Ashfield and
or Ashfield, sorry,
Golf
yes.
Yeah.
What are you playing off?
I play off about 16, yeah.
Okay.
Listen, during football season you don't get out too much to practice, so the boss man doesn't really like us out playing golf, but listen, you know, it's always good to get out with the golf whenever you can.
Yeah, Jared Oak, I believe you're playing off what, 2? You're playing off
2.5. So
yeah, 2.5. Yeah.
He must be getting out.
Yeah. You're a handy golfer. What are you looking forward to today?
I think I've never played this course now, and I know it's ranked fairly high, maybe top 3 in the world. So I'm just looking forward to getting out and getting a look at it, and hopefully hitting the ball fairly straight if I can.
Windy conditions, Kieran, out there today. You ready for a good couple of rounds?
Yeah, no, I've never played the course, and all the reports obviously is that it's unbelievable and a brilliant venue to host the Irish Open this year, and they've run up brilliantly so far. So yeah, really exciting week ahead, and obviously today we're hoping that we survive it and that everybody else survives it that's watching us.
Well, hopefully the wind is at your back, gentlemen. To Rian, Jars and Kieran, thank you so much for joining us. For me and all the crew here in County Down, Royal County Down, back to you in the studio.
Lovely morning there. Look, it's a bit breezy. We've just heard Tommy has 3 bogeys already.
You're so... He hasn't. He hasn't. That is so mean. He's doing very well. We'll catch up in just a little while.
We don't know, is the truth.
Yeah, we don't.
Tommy, let us know how you're getting on. Now, coming up, we're going to be meeting some local business owners who are tough their game.
Plus, we're going to be meeting a Royal Gore who does fantastic work in the Irish language. Back with you shortly on IrelandAM. Welcome back. Now we're taking a closer look at how the local enterprise office is empowering small businesses to thrive. First this morning, I'm joined by Anouk O'Connell with her knits and weaving business. It's based in Wicklow.
Wicklow, yes.
Tell us about it. What is it?
It's basically a hobby that got out of hand. So at the moment we have lots of weaving kits, all suitable for beginners. So you get a loom, all the yarn bundles, full instructions, and you make a lovely wall piece.
So this is all and more, right?
Yes. So this would be the finished piece, and you can keep also adding in your own materials and really.
So you would buy a kit and you would go off and make that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be honest to you. In the bunny hole, around the tree, out the bunny hole, and off goes she. Would I honestly be able to do something like that?
Yeah, so all the kits come with video and written instructions as well. So,
okay.
Yes,
so what was the inspiration behind this? You set up in 2017.
Yeah, 2017. So we've been going for a while. I always had kind of a natural interest in crafts and tried to find good quality wool and started working with that and just wanted to bring it to the Irish market. Kind of escalated because we now also have a lot of knitting kits. So again, they come with all
like this
instructions. Here. Yeah, that's a piece in progress. They're also.
Are you just knitting with that?
Yeah, you just started knitting, so show me.
I did just start knitting, but I wouldn't this is tied by a wire.
Oh yes, that's just so you can do kind of wider knitting rather than having it all on the big.
Is that going to end up as a circle?
Yeah, so that's actually the start of the shrug that I'm wearing as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so you can just pick your pattern, any colour that you want, and then again everything is included.
Now, obviously, starting in 2017, then lockdown hits, and oh my God, loads of people take up knitting, and it really has.
Yes. Definitely. There was during that time a huge uptake. Thankfully, we were fully set up online to facilitate that. So, but actually, the younger generation at the moment really has a much bigger interest in knitting, crochet, crafts in general. So that's really good to see. So that's why all our kits are aimed at beginners, so that it's not too intimidating. The big super chunky wool that we use really knits up fast as well. So you're not there for weeks before you see progress, which is what people like.
It's absolutely beautiful. The plain and the pearl and learning all of those sorts of things.
Yes,
you are with
have the lingo.
I do. I've got the lingo, but I don't have the actual knitting. So you're going to be at the National Ploughing Championships with Leo. So this is like a bunch of small businesses set up together.
So there's about 33 of us there, all small business, just fighting our corner in the
But that's
market,
nice because you must go through the same sort of trials and tribulations being small businesses.
Yes.
Like we're talking about Apple today with their 13 billion. You're like, all right, lads, calm down. Like you're all in the same
targets or figures mean nothing to us. But it's really nice to be there and actually meet people, and they can actually feel your products as well, especially if you're mainly based online. So those kind of opportunities are really important for us.
It's amazing. And you're there. It's with the local enterprise office. All of these things are going to be there.
All
They're
there.
absolutely beautiful. The quality. The one I have is awful. This is absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful.
I need real wool.
Real wool. Where can you find it? Where can we find you online?
allandmore.com.
allandmore.com. Anouk O'Connell, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now it's time for some good luck over with Alan.
Oh, yes, I'm joined here now by Anne from Giddy Good Luck Horseshoes in County Kilkenny to explore the tradition of good luck gifts, perfect for celebrating life's special moments. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Tell me how all this started for you.
I suppose I have 3 children. 2 of them, Mike and Edward, rode for years, so I was the person that did the driving, did the mucking out and whatever, and I had a great interest in tradition. I got a horseshoe 33 years ago when I married Ed in June, 33 years ago, from my flower girl Cecilia. So the tradition was always in my house, and I have that horseshoe up in my kitchen and I wouldn't part with it for the world. So the actual whole story of the horseshoe is standing for good luck and protection. And
so where did that idea come from? I remember I was saying to you, there's a picture of me and I'm only this height as a page boy in the church walking up the altar.
Yeah,
and I was holding a little
it was very much
thing.
a wedding thing initially, and I suppose centuries ago it was to fight off evil. That was the story behind it.
That was the idea that the horseshoe would fight off the evil.
Yeah,
but these are all from horses that you like.
Genuine horses that have touched Irish soil. They're all Irish sports horses. we take the horseshoe and obviously we put a lovely finish on it and it will last forever. So they're keepsakes. These shoes have had a story. They have been on a horse with a rider, and now we're giving them a second go.
And would these be just thrown away?
Thrown away.
Would they? So they'd come off the horse and literally be discarded,
so we actually
thrown
do a sustainable package now with some yards where we take their horseshoes away, we reuse them, and we send them all over the world. We send them all over Ireland because I have the most wonderful customers, but we send them, we have 14 shops in the US at the moment which stock our horseshoes. Isn't that actually amazing?
That's amazing. And how did the local enterprise office help you then? Was it at the beginning to try and help you get going, or during this whole time?
Oh no, during the whole time. So when I had the idea, I worked in corporate for 37 years, and I had this dream that if I left my corporate job and started doing horseshoes, that I was going to make my millions. Anyway.
And you have.
And I have. Yeah. So before I actually left the job, I actually went to the local enterprise office to get some mentoring on how to start a business and whether they thought that the idea of the horseshoe was something that we could work on. Since then, Aileen and John are sick seeing me because I come up with another idea or something else that I want. So as well as getting mentoring, I have got support. I have been showcased twice as a result of being part of our local enterprise.
And you're going to be at the ploughing as well.
Absolutely.
So to show everybody that's there.
Yeah.
And like, is it weddings? Is it anniversaries? Is it things? What would be your biggest seller?
This is a new baby one.
New baby.
Yeah, boy and girl are really big. Weddings are really big. New homes. And people give them...
good luck for the new homes.
Absolutely. Do you know what? If somebody's sick, people give a horseshoe to wish them well in treatment or whatever. So it's for any reason. They send them abroad.
I'd say in America, you get a lot of people in America would love them.
But obviously weddings are huge. Engagements, anniversaries, those special big anniversaries.
And where can people find Jan?
Biddy's Good Luck Horseshoes. I have a website. I'm very much online on every platform. So Biddy's Good Luck Horseshoes.
Continued success and enjoy the ploughing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. Now back over to you, Myrne.
Thank you so much, Alan. It is time to spice things up as we dive into the world of salsa with Andrew Brady from Garnacha. Andrew, when I look at you, I think salsa. That's what I think. Mexico is in your blood, is it?
I think so, yeah. Well, this shirt is from Mexico. That's about as far as it goes.
That's what it is. So tell us about Garnacha and why you set it up.
So Andrea, my wife, is from Mexico and she was living here 7 years and wasn't able to get any decent salsa that done justice to the stuff that she can get at home. So she always had fresh salsa in her fridge, prepared it herself, and we always joked that she would one day open a salsa emporium.
And you must have known when you tried, we'll say, the shop salsa that we've had here, because I've heard this from Mexican people before, they're like, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
And you must have tasted the difference.
Yeah, big difference. And then when we eventually got over to Mexico, we got married while we were there.
Yeah.
And we were travelling around for 6 months and we just decided that we have to bring Mexican food back to Ireland and do it justice. So that's kind of how the idea started.
That's how it started. Tell us about the name. What does the name mean?
Garnacha, it means Mexican street food. So we want to keep it as authentic as we can, the Mexican food. So that's why, we chose that name.
So when did you set up?
It was October of 2022. We sold our first jar of salsa in a market.
Yeah.
And we were kind of testing it out to see how much spice the Irish people could handle.
How much is it?
Well, habaneros, so they're pretty spicy, so I think they can, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
People are doing habaneros?
Yeah.
Well done, Ireland. Very proud of you. Very, very hard. We're cultivating a new taste palette. So that's it. You started at markets and then you went to the local enterprise office, did you?
Yeah, so we've done the Food Academy, which is run by Leo and SuperValue.
Yeah.
And it's a 6-month course, and at the end of it, they put you on 10 shelves in SuperValue. So we done that for the habanero one and our chipotle one.
Yeah.
And we launched the peanut one there only 2 months ago.
So you end up in shelves in SuperValue. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was massive, yeah, because at the start it was all markets. So we got into the 10 SuperValues, and then since then we've been adding new shops, and we're in about 50 shops now. And we just heard last week that we're going to be in 40 Tesco's by November.
That is huge. And you only set up in 2022. So Leo has done quite a lot for your business then, one would imagine.
Yeah, they've helped so much. They've given us grants to buy equipment, help us pay our wages. We've been in touch with mentors with them, so one-to-one with people that have been working in the industry for like 30 plus years. So amazing like that, and then training courses as well. So
to be a disruptor like this, to get on that many shelves in such a quick space of time, like honestly, this stuff has got to be very good if they're like, yeah, let's get in. You must be delighted.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's growing very quick, and yeah, we send it into different shops, and everyone seems to be.
I'm going for the peanut. I'm going for the peanut butter one. I'm not going for the really hot one.
Yeah, this one is like nice and creamy. It's peanuts and chipotle chilies.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you think it's spicy?
Mwah. Alan, you'd blow your head off. You would not be able to handle this at all. That is so good. Well done to Andrea.
Yeah,
That's so good.
Yeah, she's the one that has the secret touch to all the recipes.
Oh, lovely. So this is garnacha. You'll be able to find it in your local. It's in Super Value. It's all over the place, and you're going to be at the National Ploughing Championships as well. Yep. Andrew Brady, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Cheers. Starting to get very hot. Coming up, we speak to an Irish language content creator who's spreading the love of the language. Yeah, it's blown the mouth off me now. I'm like you. See you in a minute. Oh my God.
Now it's time to get passionate about Gaeilge.
There you go. Through humour and wisdom of ancient proverbs, our next guest is spreading her love of the language to beginners, native speakers and everyone in between. Mónica Chéile, díoghaid chun atá tú. Oh, very good. It's lovely to have you here, and we're here to talk about your brand new book, Gaeilge I Machrí, which is absolutely gorgeous. But this all started because of your social media account, Gaeilge I Machrí. So can you tell us why you set that up?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, I always had an interest in, I always enjoyed watching YouTube, and I studied media production at college, and I always wanted to make videos on YouTube, but I wanted to make videos about something that I was passionate about. And I don't know when it clicked, but just one day I thought, well, why don't I make videos about Irish? There aren't many people doing that. And I also met a lot of people when I was studying media production in Deric who didn't have the opportunity to learn Irish. So I thought this would be a great way to share it with them, to share it with anyone. So that's kind of who I was expecting to watch the videos. And then I was so surprised by the amount of people from all over the world, really, wanting to learn Irish with connections or not.
I'm so bad at Irish, but I didn't grow up in an Irish household, no Irish is spoken, but neither did you.
No.
So, where did the passion come from then?
So I would say I can remember at primary school, I remember I enjoyed learning words in Irish. I thought it was really cool that we had another way to say things, and by we, I mean us, it is our language.
Yes.
So it was more special than learning how to say something in Spanish or French. So I was always very curious as a child about it. And then I did always enjoy Irish, but it kind of got harder as school went on with all the exams and the stress of that. But I tried to use a bit of Irish at home. I was by no means raised with Irish. I didn't attend a Gael school. And after school, I had Irish, but I wasn't very conversational. I wasn't that confident, but I had a good foundation. So it was kind of a few years later when I was really just missing the language, and I felt like I could get more out of it than what I did at school. So I came back to it, and I, learned a lot myself then as well, and just took advantage of opportunities to use it.
Because you say that in the book, tá éagla oireann, when it comes to speaking our own language, that there's a fear upon us. Because, like yourself, like if I was in Galway and you hear native speakers, you'd be in shop, I get a bit embarrassed. I don't want to try it out. Because that is something that people have, even if they're like, I know I could get a bit involved, but I don't have Gaeilge líofa.
Exactly. Agus ní caithfí tú Gaeilge líofa a bheith agat. You don't have to have fluent Irish, but it can take you off guard. Like I remember not long after school, I met someone who had Irish, and they were very líofa, fluent, conversational, and I felt overwhelmed. I was going along like, Sheelan Godigam who? I think that I understand you. So I definitely felt a bit of that naira, that shame. But, luckily I found the opportunities. Like right now, what I really recommend to people is to attend pop-up Gael talks. They're happening in bars all over the country, and
really?
Even in Dublin, and I've seen them everywhere. I've seen them in
like day or afternoon, or sort of just
usually in the evening.
And in Conor na Gaeilge, the drink is cheaper. It's subsidised. Anyway, we won't get into that.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, but like, I was just watching some of your Instagram. My Irish is absolutely atrocious, and I'm embarrassed by it sometimes. But I did a bad experience in school with an Irish teacher, and that's why. But like, I was watching it, and I love the way you're doing it. So you're just giving little phrases to people. So, and I'd love to actually just know even, do you know, like a couple of good phrases that you use every day in Irish, and that's what you're you love people just to start with that.
I think that's what's so important, is to just, often I'll make a video about a phrase because I think it's really interesting or just beautiful how you can say it in Irish.
Yeah.
And what I find that does is people, they're learning something and they're also thinking of how you can express things in Irish and how much more beautiful that can be in Irish sometimes, rather than thinking, I don't know how to say this, how do you say that?
Yeah.
This grammar's too complicated. This is a lovely phrase and I want to use it.
Because even that, you know, the fear is upon us. Do you know, it's so gorgeous how that sort of happens. We have a video of you saying stuff here in Irish.
Saying stuff.
Caiicish, fortnight. Deirtear an focail fortnight inéan go fáil as béarla, agus sílam go bhfuil sé chomhgramar mar inar dearm an focail sin le daoine as tíortha eile, sílan siad go bhfuil mé seanáisianta. Fortnight? Cén é siú? Ach, deirtear an focail go fáil, agus tá focail ón sa Gaeilge. An bhaca tú an focail seo a riú? Bommate. Cad is bréile sin? Fan bommate, a na is fearlam. Fan nóméid. Beidir go dtuigeann tú é sin. Wait a minute. Cílíonn bommate minute agus cílíonn nóméid minute fásta. Is an iad. Ach, úsáidtear an focail bommate I néla golú. Cé acu is fearr leat, inis dús na tartnaí.
Your favourite phrase there in Irish? Bommate.
Bommate, yeah, I love that word bommate. And that's kind of also in my book, which would be helpful for people, is that I talk a little bit about the dialects, because I know that that's another challenge when people get into the Irish. They might be used to maybe Connemara or Munster. Most people aren't used to Ulster Irish, but I struggle with the other dialects too. So those little words, you might know nóméid, that's minute, bommate, what's that? So, you know, it's important to...
You must be delighted then when you see like films recently, Irish films going to the Oscars, and then Kneecap getting such a reaction there recently. That must spur you on to go, we're getting somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. I love Kneecap. I really enjoy their music, and I've been to a few of their gigs, and the atmosphere is just incredible. And it is, you know, the Irish language is a part of that, and I met people who are learning. They found out about Kneecap before they found out about the Irish language. And now they want to learn the Irish language. Or the opposite, they want to learn more because of them, because it's fun. And Colleen Keown last year, loved that film. It was a beautiful film. And just, it's great to see Irish in media.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Gaeilge Machree, this is your brand new Irish book. It's also the name of your social media account, and in it is really easy to understand, because as you speak, you say it as Gaeilge and then you kind of repeat it again in English, and it's laid out incredibly well about everything. It's absolutely beautiful. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Gormaigat.
Thank you so much.
So that is the brand new book there, and thank you for joining us over from New York to talk to us about the book. But that's all we've got time for today. Coming up on tomorrow's Ireland AM, Sinn Féin party leader Mary Lou MacDonald will be stopping by.
Plus we have some Emily in Paris looks on the catwalk, a family fish pie in the kitchen, and our movie man Brian Lloyd will be giving his film and TV recommendations. We're live from 7. Have a great day.
Bye. See you later. Bye.